And Rafa, welcome to class. How are you doing? Nope. Welcome to class, Michael and Andri. Andri, how's it? Oh, Michael, how's it going? Hmm. Okay. Um. This is really odd. Hmm. Okay, so everybody's dropping in and out. Anatoly, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, hello, I can.
Okay. Um. All right. And Anatoly, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I'm wondering why everybody is dropping in and out. This seems really odd. Um,
Yes, it
David,
happened with me today in the morning.
huh? Okay. Yeah. I mean, it seems strange that it would be everybody's connection, but hopefully it gets a little bit better. David, welcome back. David, what's going on? How's it going?
Hi Joshua, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. And Michael, are you there?
Sure, I'm here. Yeah, have had some connection problem. What I mean that it kept me kicking out, like, and it was written like there is some error or something.
Yeah, I was getting that too. That's what
Yeah.
happened to me last class. It kicked me out and didn't let me back in, so I had to restart class.
I think Google is working hard on Google Hangouts, and they are changing always something. They're
Yeah,
trying, I think, to launch maybe a paid service, like some kind of, and that's why they are testing.
that's probably true. Okay. Well, it looks a little bit more stable right now. Um, and so, Paolo, what about you? Are you there?
Yes, I'm come back. Nice to
Right.
to see you again.
Yeah, nice to see you again as well. Um, okay. And Rafa, it looks like you're back too. Rafa, how's it going? Nope. So Anatoly, what are you gonna do today? What are you going to do today?
Today, now it is the evening. Today I had my weekend trip because it was sunny day, and I was happily took a shot. You can see on my screen.
Of a
Squirrel.
squirrel.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good trip. Get to see some squirrels. Cool picture too. Um, yeah, and all right. Well, well, actually, Rafa, maybe you're there now. Rafa, can you hear me? No. Okay. Well, let's get started with. That's not what I want to show you. Hold on. Let's get started with today's class. And let's start with David. Can you read the title in the next few lines?
Yeah, Joshua, for sure. Education. Today we will talk about learning and online education, cultural views of education.
Okay, and that sounded really good. The only small thing is this D sound. It sounds more like a J, so it would sound more like education. Education.
Education could be.
Yeah.
Education.
Uh,
Education.
education. Maybe like that. Education.
Education.
Good. Okay. And oh. Okay. Go to the next page. And David, can you ask Michael the first question?
Yeah, sure. Michael, what is your favorite memory from your time in school?
My favorite memory? Can I say something with sexual content?
As long as it's not. Let's stay away from that one. Let's stay away from that.
I'm like
Different memory.
I'm like a troll, like troll. Do you know what's troll?
A troll?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
I'm trolling the class.
Let's try not to troll my class too hard.
So okay, because I realize that I cannot speak about those things. Like I'm fully like understand. Okay, so my favorite memory from time in school, I would say that was when I was like 14 or 13 years old, maybe. I enjoyed very much going to lessons. Some lessons were some young teachers, and they taught very well lessons.
Okay. So with young teachers who taught very well. And so what was so good about their teaching style? What did you like especially about those teachers' lessons?
Well, I think because they were looking good, and my favorite teacher was biology teacher. She was
Okay.
like awesome, an awesome teacher, and I had like a good grade, and on her how would you say it? On her subject or what?
Yeah, I had a good grade. A good grade in her subject.
Yeah, in her subject,
Or
like
in her class.
in her class. Yeah, like almost the best, and I enjoyed very much to come to her lessons and to learn, like to always I was active, like I was raising my hand and I want to answer, and I remember at that time I
Nice.
was wondering where is her. Maybe I could meet her on the street.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, could be.
Okay. And all right, Rafa, it looks like you've been back for a little bit. Rafa.
Yeah,
Okay, nice. How's it going?
perfect. I was having a lot of connection problem, but at the end I could join your class.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you've made it.
Mm.
And all right, yeah. So let's have Paolo. Can you ask Rafa the second question?
Rafa, did you go to public school or private school? Which type of school is better in your country?
When I was young, I went to a public school at the beginning of my learning, and later I went when I was 10 years old, more or less. I went to a mixture between public and private school. Here in my country, there is a system that mix private financiation and public financiation. The government support private school, and it was one of them. And which type of school is better in my country? I think right now there are several of public schools that are very good, but better than these are private school for far.
Okay, but maybe private schools are generally better. Okay, I think that was really good. Good answer. Private, a public-private school. It mixes public and private financing or funding. But I think that was good. Really good answer. And does anybody have any questions on this page?
Rafa, where are you from?
Where am I
I,
from?
are you
Sorry.
asking? Yeah. I'm from Spain, from
Okay,
in
fine.
Europe, from Ireland.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
nice job. Any other questions? Okay. And let's go here. And Rafa, can you read the title and the directions?
Okay. Vocabulary. Define these words or use them in sentences.
Good. And Anatoly, can you read the words?
Accessible. Alternative. Geography. Compare. Graduate. Evaluation. Instructor. Photocopier.
Nice. That sounded really good. The first thing, alternative, was just the intonation. Can you repeat alternative?
Alternative.
Good. And then when we say graduate, it's got that j sound again. Graduate.
Graduate.
And we can also say graduate. Graduate. So this is the noun. This is the person who graduated, and this is the verb. And then evaluation. Evaluation.
Evaluation.
Good. Evaluation. And does anybody have any questions about any of these words?
About a second word.
Alternative.
Alternative.
Okay. Who can explain what an alternative is? What's an alternative?
I think alternative, it means something opposite to the
Yes.
common sense or the standard of one behavior or one specific target, for example.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think you're on the right track. An alternative is something different, like a different choice. Would be on an alternative. So you could have an alternative to public school would be private school. So something different. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understood.
Okay. And any other questions on this page about any of these words? Okay. Andre, welcome to class. Andre, how's it going?
Hi, teacher. I'm doing great. How is everything? How is about your connection?
It looks like it's good.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it should be. I don't think it was my connection that went out before. I think I just got kicked off the platform. So sometimes it does that. It doesn't let me start a new class. It's not my internet connection. It just decides that, yeah, the connection is done. But, yeah, so with any of these words, any other questions before we move on? Any other questions here? Okay, and so let's go on to the next page. All right, let's try this. And let's have Anatoly. Can you read the paragraph?
In the United States, there are certain years where students have to take benchmark tests. If a school's students do well on the test, the school gets more money. If the students do poorly, the school's funding is cut.
Good. And let's have Andre. Can you ask David the first question?
Okay, David, tell me please, what do you think of standardized benchmark test?
Okay, I think it's a controversial topic, but I'm not agree with standardized benchmark tests because if the school do poorly in the test, the government is going to funding cutting the funding, so that is very bad because the students that are in bad educational condition is the opposite. Needs more fundings, needs better education to improve his abilities. So I'm not agree with that.
Yeah, okay, good. I think that's a really good point. And David, can you ask Andre the second question?
Okay, Andre, do these tests exist in your country?
Actually, in my country, we doesn't have any kinds of that test, and I think we don't need that test in my country.
Okay, I don't think we have any tests like those.
I
I know.
don't think we have any test
Okay,
like that.
and I don't think we need tests. So, again, using the auxiliary verb to do there with think. So if you negate think, I do not think. But good. And let's have David, can you ask Michael the next question?
Test
Yeah,
like this.
sure. Was me? Sorry.
Yeah, David, can you ask Michael the last question?
Okay, sure. Michael, do they help or hurt school and students?
Sorry, I'm lost. Who help or her? Tests or what?
Yeah, benchmark tests.
Okay. I think do benchmark tests help or hurt schools and students? Well, basically, I think I've answered this question like 2 or 3 months ago. From what I recall, off the top of my head, what I recall my answer was that I was in this class. Yeah, Joshua. I was in this class, right?
Yeah.
So I said that I think yeah they definitely help students and schools because schools knows who are the best students, and students try to improve their abilities to learn better. They are more motivated to achieve good results in school. So and that's Darwin theory that the survival of the fittest. What's the name of that?
Yeah, the survival of the fittest.
Yeah, so the best go further.
Okay. Go further. Okay, good point. Nice. And we've got who just came in? Ken, welcome to class. Ken, how's it going?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. And so again, welcome to class, Ken. All right, and does anybody have any questions or last comments on this page? Any questions or comments? Okay.
I don't know if this kind of tests, benchmark tests, exist in other countries. I wonder if this benchmark test exists just only in the United States.
I'm not sure. I know they definitely exist in the U.S. Just to standardize things throughout the United States. Often it has unintended consequences, really. But yeah, I'm not sure if it is elsewhere in the world. Any other questions? Okay. And I think yeah, we can go through this. Let's try this. And let's have Paulo. Can you read this comic?
Could you enlarge the picture, please?
Yes, I can. Let's go over here.
Okay,
How's that?
thank you.
Oh, wow, sorry.
When did the Pilgrims land at the Plymouth Rock? 1620. As you can see, I've memorized this utterly useless fact long enough to post a test question. I now intend to forget it forever. You've taught me nothing except how to cynically manipulate the system. Congratulations. They say the satisfaction of teaching makes up for the lousy pay.
Yeah, can you repeat lousy?
Lousy pay. Okay.
Good. And also Plymouth. Can you repeat Plymouth?
Plymouth.
Good.
Plymouth.
All right. And Rafa, what do you think about this question? This question and his answer. What do you think? Do you think it's a good question or a bad question?
I think it's a bad question. It depends. No, always it's a bad question because it's related to memorize things, items, and stuff. For this reason, it's not very useful. Only, as we can understand in the comic, only to make up the Lucy Pay. But in my opinion, there are many schools that try to memorize things more than to teach, to think, and to investigate how to get all the information and be more creative. Perhaps this is the point of the class we are discussing. Sorry, so long.
I think that was perfect, Rafa. Don't apologize for taking a long time. That's not even, yeah, that wasn't too long of an answer. I think that was really good. There was one thing I didn't quite hear. It's only good to make up something. I'm not sure what you said. I don't think it's too important. A general idea of what you were saying.
The Lucy Pay at the end of the comic.
Make up for the lousy pay.
The Lassie, yeah.
So lousy pay is really bad pay. So lousy is really bad. And so, yeah, they say the satisfaction of teaching makes up for the lousy pay. He's trying to say that people get a lot of joy out of teaching, to some extent. So it's being a little bit ironic. So he's saying that it probably doesn't make up for it. Maybe because he has students like this, but yeah, also because you're asking questions like this. And yeah, so I think that's good. Does anybody else have any comments that they'd like to say about this comic? Anything else they'd like to add to Rafa's explanation? Okay, I guess that's good then. If nobody else has anything to add, we can go on.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the idea of this comic?
What was that?
What is the idea of this comic?
The idea? Like the main point?
Yep.
Okay. I think Rafa was pretty on target. So he's saying that the question, it's a really bad question, but it's also very common in a lot of education systems. So just the rote memorization of a fact that doesn't really have any significance, and it's not asking about the meaning. So maybe a question would be like, what were the effects of the Plymouth landing at Plymouth Rock? And like, what happened after, and why was this important to the development of something? In that case, it would be a relevant question about something rather than just the memorization of a fact. And he's saying that maybe the system of asking for facts and just using test questions like that is maybe a little bit pointless because people can manipulate the system by memorizing the fact and then forgetting it and never using it. So it's, I think, like Rafa was saying, teaching people how to memorize things and not really how to think. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I understood these points that you said now, but what about the last question? the last picture.
Okay. So he could be talking about any number of things here. The satisfaction of teaching makes up for the lousy pay. So it could be kind of implying that the teacher is going to be really frustrated with this answer. So he's not happy about it. Also, perhaps the teacher is unhappy about having to ask questions like this. And so really it's saying that teachers are paid poorly. Some people assume that they're satisfied because they're doing good things. He's kind of implying that the system is broken and that teachers are neither happy, or if they are happy, they probably shouldn't be. Does that make sense, Michael?
Yeah, and I think here could be like a point that this boy is way too smart than like he looks. I mean, he looks like, I don't know, 10 years, but what he said in the last comic, it looks like a statement of a mature person that should learn some more complicated things, more complex, rather than when did the pilgrims land at Plymouth Rock.
Yeah, I think that's one of the themes in this comic strip, is that often the child shows wisdom that is beyond his years. So it's yeah, and that's part of the reason why it's often funny, because it's juxtaposing a child with an adult, kind of, or an adult's way of thinking. Any other questions or comments on this? Okay. And let's go to the next page. Let's skip that for now. We can come back to that too. Let's try this quotation, and let's start with Paolo. Can you read the first quotation here?
Education is a kind of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Socrates.
Okay. And kindling. Can you repeat?
Kindling.
Good. Kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. All right. And does anybody have any questions about any of the words in this quotation?
I don't catch the meaning of kindle. Kindling.
Okay. So kindling is a verb, and kindle, okay, kindling as a noun. So it can be two different things. So what's the verb? Does anybody know?
Kindle?
Excuse me?
No.
Kindle?
Yeah. Ken, do you know?
Yes, for the Amazon's Kindle. But I don't know it's about. Okay.
Yeah, a type of ebook, for sure. So to kindle is to start something.
Lighting, similar to lighting.
Yeah, to light something, for sure. To light something. Kindling, as the noun, would be small wood used to start or to light a fire. So often we use kindle in respect to fire. And yeah, so in this case, kindling would be the gerund. So education is the kindling of a flame. So it's like the starting of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Any other questions about any of these words?
What about vessel word?
Okay. And what's a vessel? Does anybody know?
A kind of boat, a ship.
Yeah, a ship, sort of. So that's part of it. A vessel is really just something that holds something else. So a cup, a boat, a yeah, really anything. Pool, shell. So yeah, anything that holds something else. A bowl is a good one. Yeah. And about this first question, let's have Rafa. Actually, let's start with Paolo. Paolo, can you ask Rafa the first question?
What does this quotation mean?
I think it's related. We were talking uh, about the system of education. What is depend on what is you doing in it. It's better to light a flame. It's like a match or lighter. I think the comparison is the metaphor. The metaphor is so nice and so interesting because in a few words, we have the definition. What is education? Is to light a flame, to light a fire, better than to fill a cup. I think fire is always increasing, always making a boost, always trying to get there. Is about knowledge. The difference, if you are thinking, you need to put inside someone anything to fill it, like many education systems are doing right now.
Okay. Thinking you should just fill some. Okay, Ken, do you have anything else to add? Any other points or yeah, anything else to add about this quotation?
Yeah, I think it's kind of how can I say school here until high school, the such kind of memory kind of thing, the memorizing the years or memorizing formula in the math. But I think Socrates says true education is to know how to know the way of thinking or how to learn, or for example, how can I say, just memorizing formula kind of it can be practical to solve some math problem, but people don't know the exact meaning of that formula. So if you want to go one step beyond, you need to know the meaning of formula, not just memorizing or feeling the knowledge, but also how to use it is important.
Yeah. You need to know the meaning of the formula, not just the formula. Okay, I think that's really important. And anybody else? Does anybody else have any questions on this page? Nice, Anatoly. Really good picture. Okay, any other questions on this page or about this first quotation? Questions or comments or anything that somebody would like to add?
I like very much this statement, like is that kind kindling of a flame. I think it is very interesting. But on the other hand, the education is a challenger for all people, and cleaning of a vessel, I think sometimes it's important to occur to. I agree with Socrates, but I know that education is a hard challenge nowadays and in the future too.
Okay. I think that's a good point too. All right, nice. Anything else? Anything else that anybody would like to share or say? Okay, let's move on to the next one, and let's start with Anatoly. Can you read this next quotation?
Okay. Education, the path from cocky ignorance to miserable uncertainty.
Nice. Really good pronunciation. Both with cocky, miserable. Maybe it sounded like you said miserable.
Miserable.
Mostly said miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Really good job. And nice work with uncertainty. Okay, and Anatoly, can you ask Andrei? Well, actually, let's first ask if there's any questions about any of these words. Does anyone have any questions?
Mark Twain. Sorry, I didn't got the meaning of that quotation, the point, main idea.
Okay, is that Andrei?
Yes, yes, I am.
Okay, Andrei, can you ask Anatoly the question then?
Oh, yes. Anatoly, could you tell me, please, what does this quotation mean? Do you agree or disagree? Why?
Mhm. Okay, as I understood, we can meet two types of people. The first one in the society doesn't ask anything because he is afraid to be shown as a silly person, and he is a cocky ignorance person. And the second type of people who is wondering about everything which he doesn't know, and he doesn't afraid to ask about something new, and that second person is a model person for Mark Twain.
Okay, I think you're on the right track for sure. And really good grammar. So I think there's a little bit more to this. Maybe David, can you explain as well? What does it mean that it's the path from cocky ignorance to miserable uncertainty?
Sure, I will try. Well, I understand that when you are a person that is ignorant, you don't know nothing. But when you start to educate more yourself and you get more knowledge, but instead of maybe you think that like you are more intelligent and you know a lot of things, instead of that you realize like a educated person that there are a lot of things that you don't know in the world. So it's like a duality, because when you are ignorant, you think that you know everything. But when you are educated, you know that there is a whole world that you didn't understand, more or less.
Yeah, when you're educated, you know there is a lot that you don't understand. Okay, I think that's really good. That last sentence, so when you're ignorant, you think you know everything, but when you're educated, you know there's a lot that you don't understand. Yeah, and education is the path from moving from one to the other.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's good. That's a really good point. And does anybody have any questions or anything that they'd like to add to this? Anything they'd like to say? Any questions or comments?
I like very much this phrase. I think the more we study, more we know that we don't understand or think to miserable uncertainty. I think we need to go through the path from cocky ignorance to miserable uncertainty. I think it's a great quotation because we need to be more humble and to looking for wisdom. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's good. definitely being more humble and looking for more wisdom. Definitely good characteristics to have. All right, any other questions or comments?
I was thinking, related on the line of this quotation, another Socrates, I think, quotation was, "Only I know nothing." Always you are trying to get anything about the universe, the world, and always you have a lot of doubt. You are always having doubt about what happened in the physics, in mathematics, in every field of science. You never get the whole thing, and for this uncertainty is always in the knowledge of the humankind.
Yeah, definitely. Really good point. And that is another good Socrates quote. I only know I know nothing. Okay. And nice. I think that we're good on this. Let's go on to the next page. Let's try this. And let's have Andrei, can you read the role of the mother?
You want your children to enroll in an experimental school. They don't assign grades, and they let the students choose what to study. Try to convince your husband that your children should attend this alternative school.
Good. And David, can you read the role of the father?
Yes, sure. You don't want your kids to change schools. You think traditional schools are best. Convince your wife that this new school with no curriculum and few rules will be a bad alternative for your kids.
Good. And can you repeat convince? Convince.
Right. Convince.
Perfect. And let's start with Michael. If you were the mother, what would you say first? What would you say first, Michael?
They don't. So, what's the difference between schools?
So we have an experimental school. So they don't assign grades. They let the students choose what to study.
Yeah. So basically, I would say that if I were mother of that children.
So pretend you are the mother. So pretend you're talking to your husband, I guess.
Okay, so we should send our child to that experimental school because our child will grow a better person, not competitive, will be an average Joe that he would not seek for money. he would be a good person.
Okay.
Did they convince you or no? Not so much.
Excuse me?
Did they convince you or not so much?
I don't know. Let's ask Paolo. Paolo, can you read the next role? So pretend you're the father.
You don't want your kids to change schools. You think traditional schools are best. Convince your wife that this new school with no curriculum and few roles will be a bad alternative for your kids.
Okay. Yeah, so how would you respond? So if Michael was the mother and she says, we should send our kid to the experimental school, how would you respond if you're the father?
Well, I think it's very difficult for all schools in the world to building alternative or traditional curriculum that convince the students to be good enough for the world. Life is very complex now, So I think education is more complex too, and I don't agree, or I don't believe that one school can improve the education, just only one school. I think the education is a challenge nowadays, and all the world need to study hard, to connect each other, to uh, looking for a new roles, a new process. But I don't believe in the near future we will encounter a perfect new school or alternative school. I think education is a hardly challenging nowadays.
Okay. Um, all right. And so, Rafa, if you were the mother, how would you respond to that?
Mm, yeah. Always education is very complex and it's difficult. But in my humble opinion, um, power is behind every system, as educational system. And right now we can find this educational system is based in continuous all the time the same thing. History changes, it depends of the government in every country. And I think if you have an alternative method, is better for the creativity of our child. I think if you don't have any marks to catch, our child could be better thinker, more imaginative, more independent, and for this reason, I think it could be better go to an alternative school. Oh my gosh.
Nice. Probably convinced me with that one. And maybe let's have Ken. How would you answer if you're the father?
Yes, like, how can I say? Education here, but how can I say? How to enter the university here? University still requires a paper-based test to require a lot of memorization, and it's suitable for traditional method school. So even though the experimental school might do creative education, but students after the lost, they cannot enter the university. Without enter the university, they cannot uh, get a chance to higher education. So still going to experimental school is risky. So I recommend the kids to go to the traditional method school.
Yeah, so I recommend kids go to the traditional schools. All right, nice. Maybe let's have one more person weigh in. Anatoly, as the mother, what would you say to that?
Yes. Look to our child. He is so creative person. We should give him a chance to improve his creativity skills, possibilities, and this school is able to give it him.
Nice. This school is able to maybe give him that.
Mhm.
Okay, nice. And I think that's good. Does anybody have any other comments or questions for this page? Any last comments or questions
Yes,
here?
I have.
Okay, what's your question?
I have some points for the mother role.
Okay, go ahead.
I think I would say that if the child go to the traditional school and have a traditional education system, he wouldn't have possibility to reveal his talents, and therefore it would be better to have alternative way to alternative education way, and I'm convinced that he should be enrolled in that kind of school, since it he would have possibility to thrive himself and be more creative person in the future.
Nice. Really nicely done. I'm convinced that he should be enrolled in that kind of school since he would have the possibility of thriving and becoming a more creative person in the future. Really good. I think that's nicely done. All right. Any questions or comments on this page before we move on? Any last questions or comments?
I like very much the argument that I think Michael said about the power inside the school, behind the school system, power system. I think it's good argument because the power system is struggle power, is conflict that important for us to understand more and to be creative, to be more alternatives. Sometimes it's important against this power system, but I agree that the alternative and creative need to improve the quality of the creativity, like one goal achieve the supreme or the best way to be a creative, like if we have Charles Chaplin is the best creative actor in the world. If we can mirror this kind of specific high quality of creativity, I think he is the best.
Yeah. Okay, nice. I think that's a really good point. I think Rafa was the one who was saying that, I believe. Rafa, was that you?
Yeah, could be.
Okay. That's fine. I think that was a good point, though. And any other questions or comments? Any other questions or comments?
But in the last few weeks, I read an article about education in the United States. It was so surprised because behind the results in the academic marks in this bench test, there were an important thing. Poor people has more lower marks in this test. Rich people has more higher marks in this kind of test, and it continues in high school. The differences between the results in the exams from poor people and rich people are always the same, and this is another reason to think about what happened in the educational system if always poor people has the same result, lower than rich people. This is another point to think about.
Yeah, I think that is a really important point to think about. Yeah, and you know, especially when those rich schools receive more funding because they get better grades, it kind of perpetuates something that's kind of broken in the system. But I think that's a really good point. It sounds like a good article. All right, and yeah, let's go on. I guess we're almost right at the end. Let's look at this quote or this idiom. Sorry, Michael, can you read the idiom and the example?
For effort. Example: you weren't quite right with this hypothesis. How do you pronounce it?
Hypothesis.
Hypothesis. But I'll give you an A for effort. You worked on the project all weekend. No, you worked on the project all weekend. Even if it turns out poorly, you should get an A for effort.
Good. Okay. And Michael, can you ask Paolo the first question?
What do you think this idiom means?
Oh my God, it's difficult to say, but I know that one specific theories say that it's the right thing to do. But I think it's important to understand in deeply what the goal, this specific context and subject, and if the students is happily what they made. It's difficult, but I think it's all the psychology theories say for us that the positive
To understand the goal.
is better than negative statement. So I agree that all parents in education and professors and teachers need to reinforce positively the behavior of the other students. I think it's important. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So we need a positively reinforced behavior. So use positive reinforcement with our education system. I think that's good. Really good point. Unfortunately, we're just out of time. You guys did a really good job in class today. Some really, really good points. Good speaking. That sounded awesome from just about all of you. That really impressed. Hopefully I'll see you guys again soon. I have a class starting in about an hour, so if I see you guys there, that'd be lovely. But if not, have a really good afternoon or day or evening, and see you guys soon.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Thank you very much.
That's
Bye.
wonderful. Congratulations.
Thanks.